Oh, hello. How are you? Well, I just want to let you know that I'm going to use Rumble as a backup channel from now on. I will still uh, post on BitChute, but probably not all of my videos, maybe one video a week. I will post there. I did like BitChute, but I want to um, maybe put more videos on Rumble. And I don't have the time to post on YouTube, Rumble, and BitChute and do a German video. That would be 4 videos, and I it takes me an hour and a half to 2 hours to upload a video in my area because I don't have very good internet providers. So this is what I need to do. I'm going to go try to get on Rumble and see if I cannot get more viewers on Rumble, and also kind of put my videos on there. But of course, I still have them here on YouTube. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyways, I want to talk about, again, the hierarchy of power. I call it hierarchy of power. And I think most people, when they talk about the hierarchy of power, they end up with the money and stop there. I think most of the people do that. You know, who is in control in this world? Oh, the money, right? The money. BlackRock and whoever it is. All the money people. They are the ones that are in charge. And yes, you can say that. People always say, well, follow the money. But we need to get further than the money. We can't stop with the money. Yes, we can see clearly that behind politics today, the deep state of politics is definitely not the Democrats or the Clintons or the Obamas, but it is the money people. Revelation 18, I have talked about that when I was talking about pharmakia, and I know there were less people watching that video, but that was a very important video to watch because it made a really good connection between, of course, not only pharmakia, but the merchants of Babylon the Great. Babylon the Great is not only worshipped or bowed down to by the kings, but also the merchants. She has merchants, and you can read that. It's way at the end. Maybe I should look it up. So it's all the way down to 23b. Your merchants were the world's important people. By your magic spells or pharmakia, all the nations were led astray. So here, the merchants of the world are the world's important people. And we also see a little further up that these merchants stand afar and cry. I think 11. The merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her because no one buys their cargoes anymore. So here we see that these merchants, they're the money people. And that's what we have today. Who are the money people? Well, yeah, we could say the bankers, but it's also the people that invest in pharmakia or other commodities, like the Gates, the Rothschilds, Rockefeller, Morgans, whatever. You want to put the money in there of the richest people in this world. Of course, nowadays we have the Bezos and the Musks and whoever, but really they are not as wealthy as really the most richest people in the world. But they are still the merchants. We see that. Elon Musk is a merchant. Bezos is a merchant. They're all merchants, right? And what do these merchants do? They bow down to Babylon the Great. Okay? They bow down to Babylon the Great. Now, we see that. I mean, worldly people see where the money goes and who is in charge. These people seem to be in charge because that's where really this hierarchy of power seems to stop. It doesn't stop there because we see right here who is over them. It's Babylon the Great who is over them. And then people have a hard time understanding who Babylon the Great is. Now, we cannot expect unbelievers to know who it is, who they're bowing down to. You don't see it, do you? I don't understand. I mean, yeah, I understand that people don't see who is behind the merchants. Who are the merchants? Who are they getting the power from? Who are the merchants getting the power from? You know, like somebody like Elon Musk. I mean, how in the world does he acquire all this wealth? He's pretty young, right? And you're thinking, what in the heck happened to him? Well, he was supported from somebody maybe up, right? Or even further up, and he was supported because he is now supporting the cause. What is the cause? The cause of world dominion. And who is interested and has always been interested in world dominion? Who has used all the politics or all the countries of the world, the kings of the world, for their benefit and to rule the world? That was always papacy. Now, people, when we read the definition of papacy, of this Babylon the Great, it should jump in our face that it is papacy. And she is described here. I'm just looking for where it says she boasts. In her heart she boasts, I sit enthroned as a queen, and I'm no widow. I will never mourn. Therefore, in one day all her plagues will take over her, death, mourning, and famine. She will be consumed by fire. But she's described somewhere a little further up. Okay, in 16 it says, and cry out, woe, woe to you, great city, dressed in fine linen, okay, that's white, fine linen, purple and scarlet, and glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. In 1 hour, such great wealth has been brought to ruin. So here she is described, and people, we should know who that is dressed in fine linen, white, purple, and scarlet. People sometimes kind of ignore the fine linen, but that's what I think. Linen is like the white clothes that the priests are wearing. So fine linen, purple, and scarlet. That can only be the Vatican. Only. There is nobody out there today that is dressed that way. Nobody. And if you see that, then you should know. And every captain is bowed down, sailor, merchants are bowing down to her. Kings are bowing down to her. Why? Because she sits on the political system. We see that in Revelation 17, that she sits on top of the beast. She is not the beast, or she's part of the beast. She's the little horn of the beast, but really, John saw it very clearly that she's separate. She is a woman that sits on the beast, a separate person that sits on the beast. Daniel saw her as a little horn. And when we saw that, we thought, oh, the little horn is part of the beast. But horn is symbolic for a kingdom, and that's what the Vatican is, the smallest kingdom in Europe, smallest kingdom in the world. It's just a city-state. It's even half of a city, or part of a city. It's called a city-state. And that's what Babylon the Great is. She's a whore. She's a false church. She has Satan on top instead of Jesus. Actually, the man of sin sits in the temple of God because he kicked out the Holy Spirit, and because he kicked out Jesus as the head of the church. That's what happened when Constantine took over of the Catholic Church. And of course, every pope went into the footsteps of the emperors, who were the high priest of the church. And they kicked out Jesus and the Holy Spirit. That's why today the Pope still insists on having power, world power. He wants to have the highest power in this world, and he will continue to want that. He did that in the United States. He infiltrated through, of course, the Jesuits. He infiltrated in everything, every aspect of our government, education, banking, and he used the merchants. He used the merchants. He used the greed and the power hungriness of people, the politicians, in order to take over the United States. And people, believe me, this is where we are today. That's why we're very close to a tyranny or a totalitarianism. That's why Biden acts the way he does, because he is controlled by the Vatican. And the Vatican wants power, wants absolute power. The Vatican always insisted that the people will bow to the kings and the kings bow to the Pope. And so in turn, everybody bows to the Pope. And the United States was a thorn in the side or in the eye of the Pope from the beginning. And he tried very hard. No, he didn't try very hard. He did it to destroy. He's still working on destroying our Constitution. I wanted to say democracy, but you can't use the word democracy anymore today because it's been so misused, and especially so misused from the enemy. I don't know how many times Biden and Obama used this word, oh, democracy, 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 but they're using it to destroy all the freedom that we have. See, the problem with this thing is that They believe that we need to bow to the greater good. Okay, so because in a democracy, always the majority rules. That's really what it is. Okay, think about that. I really do not like democracy. Why? Because the majority rules, and the individual has no right, really, in a democracy. What they're pushing, the democracy they're pushing is the majority rules, and you are going to have to bow to the majority whether you like it or not. So in other words, if the majority says we want the needle, then we're going to get the needle. See? And that's what it is. That's why they're using democracy today, and they're misusing it. And that's why we need to be careful not to say, we are in a democracy. We have our Constitution, and the Constitution is built on the individual freedom. The individual freedom, not on the freedom of the majority. And that's important that we understand that. And this is also, that comes from God. Okay? God gives everybody individual freedom. And not, we have the freedom of the majority. So, anyways, but I want to continue, with this, what I call hierarchy of power. And we need to recognize who our enemy is. I think Protestants have forgotten who the enemy is. I don't think so. I see it. They have really gone, most of these Protestant churches and leaders have made a pact really with Pope. For the past 100 years, we don't even know anymore who Pope is and who Martin Luther thought the Pope is. He called him Antichrist. And did he know he was Babylon the Great? Of course, he used Antichrist as a bad name. And so then the Pope turned it around and used that word Antichrist and said, Antichrist is somebody who's coming at the end somewhere. And so then he misled all these Protestant churches through this dispensationalism. It's unbelievable. And we're following this deception. Why? Because the man of sin will deceive us. And but most people, this man of sin isn't here yet. He has not revealed himself. What do you think he's going to do? You think he's going to stand up there at the Vatican and wave to everybody and says, I'm the Antichrist? I don't think so. Or I'm the man of sin. I don't think so. From the beginning, he tried to hide who he is. Why would he change that? Why would he come out and say, well, I'm Antichrist, or I am the man of sin? He would never, ever do that. And so the only people who really will recognize the man of sin are the people that are truly following Jesus and have the Holy Spirit. And it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. I can make these videos until I turn green in my face. And people still will not see it. They still will write me little notes and saying, you're deceived, or you're wrong, or whatever the nonsense they're writing. And yet they cannot come out and say anything different. Of course, those are only like little trolls, probably Jesuit trolls anyways. So it doesn't matter, because this is exactly what the hierarchy of power is. It comes from maybe not necessarily the Pope, but definitely the Black Pope, which is the general of the Jesuits. And the Jesuits are the institution that are making sure that papacy is safe and that papacy remains the institution that is ruling over everything in the world. Everything. The kings, the merchants. See, the merchants only provide the money. But they get the blessing from the Pope. So the merchants are the ones that are using this money that they make, excess money, to then buy the politicians or the other people that are needed to push through the agenda. Now you need to understand, these people up there, Economic Forum, yes, they provide these people in various areas that are supporting the agenda. Okay? But they still have to be motivated. And they're motivated through money and success and, yeah. Okay? Then you have the World Health Organization. All these think tanks that are put in place. People, already know that these are in place, and from these places come instructions now. And they're training people in order so they will follow this plan. I just saw a video in German, and somebody was doing a report on Pope and the things that he believes, and he's saying that he is supporting the globalists or the elite or whatever, the World Economic Forum, World Health Organization. He's supporting these things. But I don't believe that that's the case. I believe that the instructions come from the Pope to these organizations. This is how the hierarchy of power works. The Pope is on top of all of them, or let's say the Vatican, okay? Because he also could come from the Black Pope. And the Pope could just be a representative for the masses. But really all the work is done by the Black Pope, who is then instructing, of course, the Jesuits that have been infiltrated in every organization. And make no mistake, he has been infiltrated in the United States as well. We have lost the United, well, I shouldn't say lost, totally lost. No, it's not totally lost, but we're very close to losing our democracy. Many people right now believe that the United States, as we have known it, is coming to an end. It's falling. Okay, I don't want to say democracy. I already explained that, why this word democracy is not a good one. Constitutionalism, our Constitution is crumbling and falling. The United States, as we have known it, is falling. Many believe that. Many believe that. And it's falling because the Vatican has infiltrated the United States and has brought it down now for years. Since the time of Abraham Lincoln. And I'm always mentioning this book by Charles Chiniquy, 50 Years in the Roman Church. And please, if you have time, read it. I think you can find it on archive.com for free. I'll check it out. If I can find it, I'll put it put a link in the description box. He explained it, I don't know, 150 years ago, during Abraham Lincoln's time, how the plan of the Catholic Church to infiltrate into the United States, politics, money, everything. Yeah, it's not a conspiracy or whatever. No, it's real. Well, it's a conspiracy, but it's not a theory. It's not a theory, it's facts that we can find, not just with Charles Chiniquy. We can find it all over. And of course, the Pope is always hiding, or whoever is supporting the Pope or working for the Pope, they're always hiding. The Jesuits don't do things in the open. They're hiding things. Yeah, we can see that we have more and more Catholics in politics, more and more, Catholics. We already know that they are in our educational system. They have been educating our children. Banking system, it's not as obvious because we have there, the banking people, but if you dig very deep, you will find a connection. You'll definitely find a connection. And here in Revelation 18, we can see this hierarchy. We cannot deny the hierarchy, when we look at Revelation. At least, when you have the Holy Spirit, you can see it. I did a video on Revelation 18 and pharmakia, and in connection, of course, with these merchants. And I thought today I'm going to focus more on these merchants that are part of this hierarchy of power. And then, people know that, but they never go further than the money. Everybody says, well, follow the money. Yes, you get to the money, and then what? Who is above the money? Somebody is pulling the strings above the money. You think they're independent and just no. They'll go further, they go for all the way up to, of course, Satan. Coming to an end, people. Yeah, let the Holy Spirit guide you, because without the Holy Spirit, you will not be raptured. And without the Holy Spirit, you will be deceived by the man of sin, because he's here.